to week 3 of the Christmas tree pillow stitch along. I hope you're all keeping up. It's sort of exciting. We may have a project by Christmas. I'm Sue Spargo, and today I'm going to be covering Snowflake number 1 and the Christmas tree circle. So we'll have a little stitch that I will be demoing called the threaded chain stitch, because that's not in creative stitching, but there is also a video on our stitch shorts on YouTube, so make sure that you go and view it there if you need help. So I'm excited. Let's get started. So we're going to be doing the little Christmas tree, and we're going to be doing number 1 snowflake. So not too much applique. You're going to cut out the little tree trunk and the tree, and then a circle that's going to be appliqued in the center of this block. What you'll need for this week are these threads, so your eleganza, house of embroidery, and also your silk straw. So you could get those out. You'll need also number 3 milliner's needle, a 24 chenille, and a 24 tapestry needle, and I think that'll do it. Yeah. The other thing is a drizzle pad if you like to use that for your drizzles, and you're going to need the number 9 Spoke Easy and your 3-in-1 pencil. So let's get started with the stitching. So referring to your pattern, I just have a couple of things to say, is that, and it says it at the top, that if there's no needle stated on the pattern, we always mean 24 chenille. Otherwise, we state what size needle to use. Another little bit of information for eleganza. If it's an EZ number, then it is a solid color, and if it's an EZM, it'll be a variegated color. And we are mainly using size 8. They are color coded, so the green spools here are size 8. If you were working with size 5, it would be purple, and if it's turquoise for size 3. So that's just a little bit of information if you're new at that. We also have quite a lot of information and all of that, particularly on our resource page of our website. So make sure if you have questions, that you go back there and read some of that information. These are House of Embroidery. They come on skeins, so I always put them on little thread winders, and this is how I like to wind them, under over like this. It makes it much easier to be able to, so you can do it like this, but it also makes it much easier to get it off. When it comes off, you can see there's no kinks in the thread. If you wrap tightly around a little piece of card, you get little kinks, which I don't care for when I'm stitching with my thread. And at the end, I just tuck the tail like that. Another helpful tool is that we have stickers, and they are color coded as well. So our needles and our stickers are color coded in green, turquoise, and purple, so that you can automatically see this is a size 8, which is sort of really handy for a lot of my students. So the stitches that we're going to be doing is drizzle stitches. So again, if you're a drizzle pad user, you're going to use your drizzle pad, and you're going to use your milliner's needles to do these. And you can see that there's a large amount of them. So what I did was I used these 3 colors plus the straw and filled in the whole tree with little drizzles. So you'll cover your whole piece of wool, and also a chain stitch for the little trunk of the tree. French knots, and then a threaded chain stitch. So I will demo that at the end of our little talk here. So that's pretty easy. The next one will be the snowflake. So I want to draw this on paper. So let me move these over. So the snowflake, I use our Spoke Easy tools. And again, there's lots and lots of tutorials on these, but I'm just going to recap for you guys so that you understand how to do it if you're new to it. But these Spoke Easy tools come from 5 spokes all the way, all the way up to 10 spokes like that. And the other cool thing about them is you can make one as small as 1/4 inch to as big as 1.5 inches. And they are used to do whipped woven and woven circles. And many other things. I teach full-day classes on all the fun things we can do with these, but we're going to make a snowflake with it this time. So what we're going to do is mark our positioning of our stitches, I guess that's the right word. So if I was doing it on fabric, I use this 3-in-1 pencil, and that's because I have the option of using different colors, because there's 3 different colors in it, and also the tip of this is a little longer than the single chalk pens that are out there. So I can make this a little bit longer on it like this, and I can get into the tool to mark nicely. So to mark, you do not want to put any pressure on this pen, because if you put pressure on or you do little strokes, the lead's going to break. So what I do is I just hold it straight up like this, and I just rotate it like this, and it'll give me a little dot. So now I'm going to mark at the end of all of these like this, and the center, which I've already done, and you can see it's marking quite easily. There's no need for lines because we're just going to join the dots in the end. Now that I have all 9 marked, you're going to rotate this around so that your markings are still on the circle on the outside here, but at the same time these spokes are now in the center of your marks. And then we're going to mark at probably like the 1 inch like this, so that we can get a secondary spoke going. So there we go. So there's your markings, and that's how the markings would be on your, I missed one, I think. So what we're going to do then is we're going to join these, all the long ones, to the center like this with our thread. Like that. So now we have 9 spokes. Then on the secondary spokes, we're going to do little fly stitches like this. And then you'll have 9 fly stitches. And so that's the base for what we're going to do for all the other stitches. You're going to add chain stitches, French knots, and also you will do a little bit of a woven center. So I think that we're going to be doing many of these little snowflakes, and they're all going to be a little bit different. So hopefully you will have fun marking it and getting the position really nice, because the problem with just eyeing it is that we've got an uneven amount of spokes, and it's very difficult to get them evenly spaced, and also even lengths of them. So use your Spoke Easy tools and we'll do some fun things with them. Earlier I explained that the threaded chain stitch is not in creative stitching, so you can look at our stitch shorts, and there's one there, but I thought I'd just demo it as well quickly so that you have a visual, I guess. So a little bit about working with threads. So cut an 18-inch length, don't cut it any longer than that, and the end that comes off the spool here is where I put my needle, and I'm going to do a knot at the end where I cut. So to thread, I like to thread needle to thread and not thread to needle, and it makes it much easier when you working with finer needles and finer threads as well. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the thread so just the tip of it is exposed or showing here between my thumb and my index finger of my left hand, and at the same time I'm lining up the eye so I can push this thread on. But before I push it on, I press my fingers very tightly together so that I can push the thread right through like that, and it goes straight in once you get that, and it makes it much easier for you to have shorter threads, because what happens in class is that people don't like to thread or find it difficult, and then they use much longer threads than they should be using. So this will help you with a shorter thread. So we're also going to do the quilter's knot. Remember, I showed you this in video 1, and there it is at the end. Okay, so what I started with, because this stitch has a base stitch of a chain stitch, and it's just like doing a threaded back stitch, which is on page 37 of Creative Stitching. But we're going to do the chain stitch first. So you can see I've done the chain stitch. Now I'm going to come up with my thread, and the other thing that I'm using is a 24 tapestry needle. So a tapestry needle has a blunt point, and I can then use the point to go underneath the threads. If you are not using a tapestry needle, you need to turn your needle around and use the back of it, because you don't want to get caught up in these threads if you have to take it out, or you know, if you want to adjust the tension, because what happens is that you'll stitch through the thread if you use a chenille needle point. So here I can use the back, it's a tapestry needle, and doing it threaded, I'm coming under both of these threads for the chain, and I'm threading back and forth all the way around, which what I would do is with the chain, I would do the chain nearly all the way around, but just stop before you get to the end, because you do need an even amount of chain stitches in order to be able to get the join here at the end. So you want to be able to come up and back down over here at the end. So I normally do it if I need to join, you know, and it has to be an even amount of stitches. I just wait until I get to the end, and then I will finish it with the amount of stitches that I need. So you can see, so you can leave it a little loopy like this, and the other thing about anything that you do like this that is loopy, you always want to make sure that your stitches are reasonably small, your base stitches, because otherwise what's going to happen, you know, this is just going to pull out or, you know, shift around. So if you do a fairly small stitch, then these will sit nicely around the edge like that. So enjoy working on your Christmas tree and your snowflake, and thank you for joining us, and please like and subscribe.